All right, so I don't have the years and whatnot written on it, right? I just went through past papers and I just began to pull out from a side, okay? And I look for the hardest of the hardest questions. So for the time being, I just want everyone to read this question. Just read it. I'm not asking you to work it out. Just read it, try to process it, and every year, whenever students read it, they usually end up scratching their heads. But let's do the process. Read it and give me your thoughts on it, if you understand it or if you don't understand. Forget the question for the time being. Let's say, I'm just saying, let's say on graph paper, I have the point A. So I'm just going to call it the point A. Let's say the coordinates of point A is 2, 5. So on a piece of graph, you don't need graph paper. I'm just talking about graph paper, right? So let's just say on graph paper, you have the point 2, 5. We all know the first point is the x coordinate and the second one is the y coordinate. Did you all know that you all can move points on a graph paper? You all have been doing it for almost all your life. Did you know that your computer screen is basically an X and Y axis? The same computer screen that you're looking at now. Everything, every letter, every dot on your screen has an X coordinate and a Y coordinate. You just don't actually see the graph. Obviously, the computer knows it's there and and knows how to use it. How much of you all have ever done this in your life? You have taken a picture or a letter, or let us use a picture, and you drag it from one side of your screen to the other side of the screen. In other words, you changed the position of the picture on the screen. Everybody here has done it. So let's just say the point A represents a picture, right? Like it can be a picture of anything. It can be a picture of a square. It can be a picture of a dog. Doesn't really matter, right? Let's say I take my mouse, I click on point A, and I drag it to a different position. Let's say the new point, well, the new point that I dragged it to, can I call it point A? In maths, if I take the original point A and I drag it to a new point in maths, are you allowed to call it the same exact letter? No. You have to call it a completely different letter because the letter A has already been occupied. So most examiners will call the new point A prime. They put a little dash on top of it. And because A has been dragged to a new position and it has a different name now, A prime, does everyone agree that the coordinates of A prime will be different? For all you know, it might be one, that's all. Let me make it a little bit more realistic, right? Right? So this, it might be 7, 3, right? This little dash represents the word prime. Some people just call it A dash, but the real word is A prime. Now, how does your computer do that? I know you click on your mouse and you drag an image from one point to a next point, right? But doesn't your computer have to do the calculations to move it from one point to a next point? Well, in most cases, they use matrices to move it from one point to a next point. That's right, your computer knows about matrices. And the computer program uses a matrix to move it from one point to a next point. Now, there are two ways you could use the matrices. You could use multiplication or you could use addition or subtraction, right? Now, whenever you see, notice They said the transformation. Do not let that get to you. Transformation just means you are moving the point from one point to a next point. That is all transformations mean, right? Now, there are two broad categories of transformations. It's going to be a multiply or addition or subtraction, either two. If the matrix they give you, the name of the matrix they gave you today is point T, it's called T. If it has 4 values in it, it will be a multiplication. If it only had 2 values in it like this, like -3 and 5, it will be addition or subtraction. Don't worry, you don't have to make a note. We're going to eventually reach a question that has addition or subtraction. So just to make sure everybody's on the same page with me, what kind of question is this going to be? A multiplication question or a addition/subtraction question? Right. So it's not a hard question. It's going to be what? A multiply. So I'll put in a little multiply sign there. So how does it work? The computer is going to take this matrix and multiply it by point A. And when it does that, it will end up moving it to point A prime. So all the examiner is asking us to do is take all of these points individually, one by one, and multiply it by this matrix. You are probably saying, well, why the examiner just didn't say that, boy? Why he just didn't say, take point D and multiply by T? Why he have to be so complex? But you will get accustomed to these things, right? So let me show you how to do it, right? When you take this matrix T and multiply it by D, you will get what? D prime. So to get D prime, which is the new point, right? You're going to take the matrix -3, 2, 5, 4, and multiply by point D. But you have to be a little careful. Whenever you're taking a point, remember the first point is X and the second one is Y. When you're taking a point and multiplying it by a matrix, you just have to write it vertical. You just put the X on top, the X is 1, and the -3 underneath. Right, so you just have to memorize that. When you're taking a point and multiplying it by a matrix, you just have to write it vertical. The X goes on top, Y goes underneath. Could you all multiply this out quickly for me? We're going to take point D and multiply it by the matrix, and then we will get the new point. The new point is D prime. Could you all quickly, everyone should be able to multiply matrices very, very quickly. The actual act of multiplying, I will be skipping that. I think we real past that point in class, but I'll give you a little jump start. The -3 swings up to the top, and you all can take it from there. Get the values of D prime. Answers. My answers, I'm getting -9 and I'm getting -7. Check it back. It's not -10 on top, and it's definitely not 2 on top, right? For on top, you'll get -3, -6. -3 -6 is -9. But the thing about it, we get the answer kind of vertical. So point D prime is actually -7, -9, -7. You write it back horizontal at the end of the day. You think you all can repeat this process? To find E prime, you have to take the same matrix they gave you, -3, 2, 5, 4, and we multiply by which point? E. But you have to write it vertical, right? You put the 4 on top and the 2 underneath. When you take this matrix and multiply it by E, you will get what? E prime, right? So get E prime for me there. And remember to write it back horizontal at the end of the day. And then you repeat the same thing to get F prime. Take the same matrix. And this time, multiply it by who? Mr. F, right? When you write it horizontal like this, these horizontal answers will be your final answers. But where I have the arrows, those are the actual final answers. Let's see what I get for it. And if you get the multiplication wrong, right? You just to copy down my answers, just try to go back through your working and say, oh, I wonder where I went wrong, boy, right? So for the next one, it's, let me see. You'll get, I get in -8 on top here, right? And I'm getting 28 underneath. Real people got it, 28, right? Take a minute for F prime, right? So the underneath, I'm getting -12, -12, -2. Yeah, -12, -2 is the underneath answer. Right, so I'm gonna just write something here. This is what we did so far, right? They're just to summarize, right? I using a different color. I know the blocking kind of boring. When we use the matrix, right, we moved D to D prime. That is what we did, right? Which was -9 -7. And then we move E to what? E prime, which was how much? -8, 28. And then we move F to F prime, which is -12, -2. That is what we did so far. When we applied this matrix, by apply the matrix, I mean we multiplied all points by the matrix. We moved from the regular letters to the prime letters. That is what that matrix did, right? So this here, right? What they want you to do is reverse the process. They want to know that if this matrix went from the black values to the red values, let's say you wanted to reverse the process and get back your original values. Let me put that into perspective. A lot of times you are typing a document or you move something on your screen. You know, sometimes when you do something by mistake, you just click the undo button. Everybody here has click the undo button or undone something. But when you make a mistake, you reverse it. You want to know how your computer does that? It uses something called the inverse of a matrix. So to undo something, you have to use the opposite of this matrix. The examiner is just simply asking you, hey, find the inverse of t. That is all he's asking you to do. He's not even asking you to multiply all the points by the inverse of t. I know he could have simply said, hey, find the inverse of t. But instead, he stated it in a way that you're moving in reverse. You're going from d prime back to the original D. So could you all quickly find the inverse of T for me? Because that is what part B is asking at the end of the day. All right. I know it would have been so much easier if examiners could just say, oh God, just do this. But instead it is, dilly-dally here, dilly-dally here, and make it more complicated than it needs to be. Right. So remember, the first step, I'm going to write it here, right? I write in T kind of big here, right? -3, 2, 5, 4, right? So we need to find what? The determinant first, right? I think we've been through this, right? You had some for homework and whatnot to try. So let's find the determinant. The determinant of T is you multiply the more important diagonal first, and then the less important diagonal. So you're getting -12, -10. Anybody got that for the determinant? Minus, well, I saw it came up quite a lot. Minus 22, but we're not finished. That is just what? The determinant. To find the inverse now, right? T inverse. You put what? Oh, I write it too big. Hold on. Right? To find the inverse of t, whatever you get for the determinant, you throw it underneath a 1. So we throw the minus 22 underneath a 1. And then we switch the more important diagonal. So it's 4 and minus 3. The next diagonal, you do not move it. You just make it the opposite. Minus 5 minus 2. This is the final answer for part B. Check it, and if you got it 100% without my help, pat yourself on the back. Right, let's move on to the next question. Right? Give this question a read. I've given you a 2 minutes head start on it. Just try something. Just try something. Work out the values of P and Q. So the aim of the question is to try to solve for what? P and Q. And they told you that AB is equal to C. In case, well, what they really mean, AB is equal to C. Well, there's a secret multiply in between there. What the examiner is trying to say is that if you multiply A by B, you will get what? C. So let's do that. We have matrix A here. We have matrix B here. Let's multiply them and put it equal to what? C. Let's do that. So I'm going to take matrix A. I'm going to write it kind of big, right? Matrix A is 3, 9, minus 2, 8. The examiner says if we take A and multiply it by B, look, B over here. B is P minus 1. Don't let the letters get to you. You will get what? C, which is 9Q. I have to make sure I write my Q real different from my 9, because if your handwriting bad, you're going to mix up Q and 9. Okay? Everyone take down up to there. We're going to try to simplify this. I know it have letters, but I showed you all how to multiply letters. So it doesn't really change anything. It's the same process. Something is going to swing up to the top and whatnot. Okay? Great. And some people said they had up to there. Okay? So who is going to swing up to the top? Let me just get that out of the way. Who is going to swing up to the top? Who is going to swing up? Right, people are saying it's minus 1. It's going to swing up to the top. Correct, correct. So minus 1 is up to the top here. All right. So the P and the minus 1 was going to walk across the P and the minus 1, right? And the P and the minus 1 also get what? It also got, how I say it, got photocopied underneath. So we know what to do from this point. We multiply each. 3 by P is 3P. Minus 1 multiplied by 9 is minus 9. Minus 2 by P is minus 2P. And 8 by minus 1, if we multiply, right, is minus 8. Everyone take down up to there, right? Okay, so we're going to simplify this side, right? Remember, what do we do with the two answers on top? We add them, right? So 3p plus minus 9, that will give us what? 3p, a plus and a minus is a minus, minus 9. That's what we get when we add these two. And to get the answer underneath is minus 2p minus 8. Can we simplify this? Can we simplify 3p minus 9? Nope, it cannot be simplified, okay? So, and this is equal to what? Remember, when we multiply out this side, we're supposed to put it equal to the other side, which is 9 cubed. Do you think you all can make a relationship here? And everything on top is equal to each other, and everything underneath is equal to each other? So, that means 3p minus 9 is equal to what? 9. Can you all solve this equation? Solve for p. Get p on one side and everyone else on the other side. And then you make an equation underneath. Minus 2p minus 8 is equal to q. Now, here's the thing. When you solve for p here, when you get the answer for p, substitute it in below here. And you will get the answer for q. So solve the top equation first, and then use that to help you with the underneath equation. We want to solve for p, so we throw across minus 9 to get what? Positive 9. So 3p is equal, 9 plus 9 is 18. The 3 is a secret multiply, throw it across, you get a divide. So p is 6. So real people got it from the chat there. P is 6. Now we just have to solve for q. So when we go to the next equation here, remember we just learned that p is what? 6. We just learned that. So why not just throw away p and put what? 6. You think you all could solve for q there now? You don't even have to transpose. You just take 2 and minus 2 multiplied by 6. And whatever you get, minus 8. And that will give you q. I don't think it's minus 24. Check it back. It can't be minus 24. Minus 2 by 6 is minus 12, and then we minus 8. Minus 12, now it's minus 20. Q is what? Minus 20. That's the answer. Christian, check it back, check it back. Minus 12 minus 8 is minus 20. Hopefully it will get a little bit easier, right? Somebody said they had a question. I just wait. Right, didn't change there just now. Right. Let's see you get out this one. I'll give you a 5 minutes head start. You all remember what an identity matrix is? I did that last week. I spent a lot of time on it. Right, some people remember. So when you're multiplying, remember you're taking the first matrix and you're multiplying it by the first half first, right? So A is 0. And you try your best to simplify that, right? You won't get something too nice, right? You'll get an expression because it will have the letter A and B and thing in it, right? The letter A in it. And the other one is B, C. right? That's a whole. I'm looking if there's an easier way to do this one. That's all. I'm looking to see if there's an easier way, guys. And just give me a few seconds here. This is for the determinant. Yeah. For the determinant, 2 by 1 is 2. You must put a minus sign. And anything by 0 is 0. So for the determinant, I'm getting 2. Right? So it's supposed to be 1 over 2. Not minus 2. I don't know why some people got minus 2. So now we switch the more important diagonal. 1 goes here, 2 goes here. The less important diagonal doesn't move. We just make each one the opposite. The opposite of 0 is 0. There's no opposite of 0, right? And the opposite of minus 1 is positive 1. Okay? So all you need to do now is multiply this out for me, right? You can multiply this piece out first. You will get 4 answers. Then simply divide all 4 answers by 2. And then the multiplication is take a little divided by, right? So let's see what we got here. Right, so just to refresh everyone's memory, because we solving for A, B, and C, we keep in A, B, C on this side, and we throw in this matrix across, and it can only jump across exactly one matrix, and it will fall right here where it becomes the inverse. And this is the inverse. So I'm getting a 1 here, a 0 here. That's how much. I getting a 1 here, and I getting a 2 there. And a lot of people are sending that answer on this end. So now to finish up the question, we just have to divide everyone in the brackets by 2. You can put it as a fraction or leave it as a decimal. It really doesn't matter to me. 1 divided by 2 is a half, or you can put 0.5. You'll get a half here, 0 and 1. And this is equal to what? A, B, 0, C. And it makes sense. Look at it. The A matches up with this. So A is equal to a half. B is also equal to a half. The 0 and the 0 match up. So that means C is equal to what? 1. And that's the end of that question. It was just a matter of throwing across the matrix on the other side, ensuring it only jumped across exactly one matrix. And don't forget to change it to its inverse and then multiply out the scenario. All right. Just one. I'm skipping that one. These here, just one. Have one I'm looking for. Right. These two here were not this one, the reason I skip it now, this one wasn't a past paper question. That came from a GCSE past paper. What I want you all to practice is this one here, right? Even though this is, I didn't copy and paste it directly from the past paper, this is a simultaneous equation, and the simultaneous equations, when it comes to the past papers, is the most popular type of matrices question. I want you all to solve this using the matrices method, right? Matrix, no other method, because the examiner could say, use the matrices method to solve it. Good luck, and I await your 2 answers. Rihanna, check it back. Katisha, check it back. Right now, I think I see the mistake some people are making, right? It's a real simple mistake I think they made in the beginning. Remember, minus y is the same thing as minus 1y, yeah? 1y. We have 2, 3, 3, but not 1 here. Minus 1. X, Y, and then you have the 8 and 23, right? How much people have up to there? Right, Kyle, check it back. You're almost correct, Kyle, but your first answer wrong. Right, now if you made a mistake with the -1, right, I will give you a few minutes to say, all right, let me go back and do back my work again. Right, so I'll give everybody a minute to get back on track, right? All right, so when we throw it across, right, who will be on this side? Well, let me color code it properly. That's in case you're a little bit, right? So you have what? X and Y, okay? So when you throw this across, you're going to get what? The inverse. Now, I have to push the 8 and the 23 a little bit around to make space, right? So you're going to get what here? The inverse. So I'm just getting everything ready for the inverse, okay? Well, what did you all get? Let me work out the determinant. So 2 minus 2. That's our for the determinant. Now, Soraya, check it back now. 2 by -1 is -2 minus 9. Right? And so I'm getting -11 for the determinant. Anybody got the 1 over -11 there? Great. And then you do what? You switch the more important diagonal. -1 goes here, 2 goes here. And then the other diagonal does not move. They just become the opposite. So -3, -3. Take it from there, guys. When you work out this and simplify it, you're supposed to get your 2 final answers, right? So everyone's supposed to at least get it from the 23 swings up to the top, right? The 23 swings up to the top, right? And the 8 goes here and the 23 goes here. So the 8 and the 23, right? So what you're supposed to do, right? Is supposed to multiply each one there, right? So I know I kind of cramped on space there, right? So I'm just erasing this here, a little cramped on space here. Let's see what the 2 final answers are supposed to be, right? The 1 over -11, you're getting -8 here, and 23 by 3 is -69. -3 by 8 is -24. 2 by 23 is what? 46. So let me add them now. On top, we get in -77 there. And then 24 minus plus 46 is 22. We have to divide everyone inside here, not by 11, but by Mr. -11, which means you're going to get +7 and -2. The top is X, the underneath is Y. Those are the correct answers, okay? Next week, we started a brand new topic, vectors. How much of you all started vectors in school? That's a huge, huge topic in the exam. I wanted to start vectors next week. That is what we're supposed to start next week. Oh, it was another simultaneous equation. All right, so you all can redeem yourself on this one. Solve the simultaneous equation, right? I don't have the year of this question, right? 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 See if you can redeem yourself on this one. Let's make sure we have here. Well, I think y'all can extract the numbers out of this one pretty easy. They don't even have any minus signs in this one. So, it should be easier on the brain at this hour. Right? Great. So we throw across this matrix. We know it's going to land right in between there. And what? Become the inverse. Right? I know you all are tired. I know you all are tired. Last question, I promise, and I'll give out the new password for class, right? For the determinant, I'm getting 2. We got a real nice number there. I got 2. Real nice number. No negatives there. You switch the more important diagonal and the other diagonal becomes the opposite. Right? Take a few seconds again, but obviously if it didn't have up to there, check back your work and see what you could have done wrong, and then go straight back into it and finish out the question. All right, so let's see what we got here. I'll leave any half for last there. We get in 4 minus 10. I'm getting minus 6. Just making sure. Minus 5. That's the other one. And when you divide everyone by 2, minus 3 and 5, I think that is, I'm not lying this time. I'm not trying any tricks this time. It's too late for that now. It's too late for tricks at the moment. I'm too tired to see if I get anyone else. All right. So if you finally got this one correct, right? If you got the first simultaneous wrong, but you redeem yourself with this one, pat yourself on the back. You probably deserve 2 gold in primary schools to give you gold stars. You can get 3. You can take the whole pack if you